The chin, a knockout punch from Ric Flair. A knockout elbow from Ric Flair, and then driving the knee down across the forehead of Brody. A favorite Flair move. The knee drop to the forehead of King Kong Brody. Flair trying to follow up his advantage. They come to their feet, trying to arm whip Brody out of that corner. It's not easy. Brody reverses the whip. Oh, and Flair hits the shoulder and bicep that went into the steel ring post. And now Brody begins chopping on the shoulder and arm of Ric Flair. Any opening you get, you have to take advantage. This is for all the marbles. This is it. There's nothing higher than this that you can fight for. So you'll scratch and claw, and you'll break the rules if you have to. Whoa, knee drop, missed. Knee drop, missed. Knee drop for Flair's head, missed. Flair going for the pile driver. Flair going for the pile driver. Can he get him up? No, look at the balance that Brody has. Brody taking the leverage away from Flair, lifting. Oh, look at that dead body weight. Oh, in the neck. Think of the strength that took. Flair wasn't jumping. He was lifted by King Kong Brody with his neck and flipped over the top when Flair tried a pile driver. To the ropes goes Flair. Drop kick by King Kong Brody, a man that size, 6'5", 285 pounds. He used to weigh 320, but he trimmed down by this point in his career, knowing that speed and stamina were so important against opponents like Ric Flair. Still, what a feat to get in the air for a drop kick like that against Ric Flair. Flair with his foot on the ropes. There'll be no pin there. It's not going to be two straight falls for King Kong Brody. Brody didn't realize that Flair's foot was on the ropes. Lee Warren trying to explain it to him, and that's not the easiest thing to do. If you're inside the ring and you have almost 17,000 people screaming, it's hard to hear each other. Even if the guy's right, ends the second fall as Brody is counted out outside the ring. One fall apiece. One fall apiece. Brody knows what he has to do. He needs to win this fall to become the world heavyweight champion. He needs this fall. Flair, he'd like a win. He'd like a pin. But he'd settle for staying alive, too, because he still have the gold belt. He takes a few more of those forearms in the head, though. He won't be staying anywhere except in an ambulance on the ride to the hospital. Brody, with his boot underneath the jaw, digging on Ric Flair, the world champion. Flair, soaked, exhausted, but he was able to come up with that big fall that he desperately needed to tie this match at one fall apiece. Brody again, trying to punish the windpipe of Ric Flair. Flair, gasping, but he's still staying by the ropes. Brody wants to get him out of that corner, but he wants to punish him too. King Kong Brody in that position now where you want to do 20 different things at the same time. You want to slam him, you want to pull him, you want to punch him, you want to kick him, you want to get him in the middle, you want to strangle him over the ropes. The hardest part now is controlling yourself mentally, emotionally. That crowd screaming, wanting more, wanting to see the title change. It's funny. Even when the world champion was a popular figure, in the days of a Luthez, of a Pat O'Connor, of a Dory Funk Jr., there came a time when everybody wants to see that title change. It didn't happen very often back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Not like today where it happens every other week. So it meant something. It meant something. Dory Funk Jr. had a 4.5-year reign as the world heavyweight champion. Harley Race had a 4-year reign as the world heavyweight champion. Jack Briscoe had the title over 2 years. It meant something when the belt changed hands. And St. Louis, over the years, was blessed by seeing many title changes. I guess the last two before that were Kiniski over Thez, and then